This far, we have seen the optical isomerism for organic compounds in which we had a symmetric carbon atom. That is, the carbon atom attached to four different groups. And in this video, I am going to show you how, apart from this symmetric carbon atoms, some other molecules such as spirines, allenes, and biphenyls also possess the property of rotating the plane polarity towards left or right. Therefore, they can be dextro or levo rotating. So here is the screen that I'm going to share to show you that. The specific rotation of a chemical compound is defined as the observed angle of optical rotation alpha when plane polarized light. So you must know what is a plane polarized light. It is the one in which you confine oscillation of electrical and magnetic field in single plane. You have direction of propagation, you have electrical field oscillation, and you have magnetic field oscillation. So electric field and magnetic field are confined in one plane, that is called as the plane polarized. This is different from laser light, in which you use light amplification by simulated emission of radiation, and that becomes a monochromatic light. There you have same phase and waves, crest and trough of the waves meet, and therefore it's very powerful, and this coherency is a factor which is used for recording in CDs and Blu-ray discs. But this one is the study of the optical property due to some molecules such as biphenyls, allenes, and spirines. I am going to briefly tell about them. Now, the property of the specific rotation is the property of an isomer. So, when plane polarity is passed through a sample with the path length of 1 decimeter and a sample concentration of 1 gram per milliliter, the specific rotation is usually given along the temperature and wavelength in this manner as given below. So, that is, this one is alpha is equal to alpha by that is 1 decimeter or 1 centimeter. For one concentration is the moles per liter for solutions, and deciliter for certain pure compounds. L is the length of the column, and D is the density given there. So that means you have a light source. The light is passed through polarized lens, and you get plane polarized light. This passes through the tube. Here is your sample, and you see that it might have rotated towards R or towards S configuration, and this is your observation. This is the observer or analyzer. You have that, and then that is it. Okay. So this is given by a formula. The number of degrees of rotation caused by a solution of 1 gram compound per ml of solution in a polarimeter tube of 1 decimeter or equal to 10 centimeter long specific temperature equivalent is given by alpha square bracket lambda is the wavelength in which it is there. T0. T0 is the time, equal to alpha by 1c, where alpha is the specific rotation. This you need to remember for writing the plane, for writing the degree of rotation of that. Alpha is specific rotation, T0 is the temperature, okay, of the sample, and this is usually room temperature. It is taken as STP, unless otherwise stated it is STP, where sodium line is used. That is, this is able to produce a favorable wavelength for our visible capability, and alpha is the observed angle. L is the length of the polarimeter, and this is the concentration. Not much experimental details are needed, but I'm telling you what happens actually is the asymmetric center will be there, and plane polarized, when it passes through it, you will have one group, two group, this is the 3 group, and this is the 4 group, 4 different groups, and that is what we call it as the chiral center, and therefore asymmetric carbon atom. All these terms go complementarily along with asymmetric C atom, and therefore the light, when the light goes through it, it gets rotated here. This rotation is measured in terms of the degrees. That is the angle with which it is rotated. So that angle is what is the characteristic property of that particular isomer. Okay. Here is an example of minus. That is the minus means, it is this is a modern way of telling yes. If it is plus within bracket, it becomes D. This minus is the direction of rotation along of that particular. Here you can see minus 5 degree it has rotated, minus 7 degree it has rotated, and plus 1.7 degree it has rotated, and plus 18.9 degrees. So you should know that the angle of rotation is based on circle only. So this will be the 90 degree. So if you have the rotation, the plane polarized light is rotated like this to about 90 degree, you will call it as the plus 90 degree rotation. And here you just minus 5 means, it's slightly towards left, it has moved minus 5 degree. So the light has moved to the left. Whether it moves to the left or right, it depends on the isomer, and that is the characteristic property of the symmetric carbon atom. The other things which you need to tell about them is the point of symmetries. Okay, that is symmetries. That is plane of symmetry is there. If there is any plane which divides the molecule equally, then it will not be optically inactive. Plane of symmetry, axis of symmetry, and center of symmetry. So these are other examples that you have to look elsewhere, or we have already explained to them. Okay. Now this is about the plane of symmetry and the axis of symmetry of the ordinary active molecules. So that is what you have seen, that some simple molecules like glyceraldehyde, which has got an asymmetric center here, and then alanine is a protein. This is glyceraldehyde, this is lactate, and this is amphetamine. This is another molecule example is taken, and all are having some point of chirality, that is asymmetric carbon atom represented by C star, for which we have written the absolute configuration. But what happens here is there are certain molecules apart from the carbon atoms, including phosphates, which are also chiral in nature. That is here it is, and then certain quaternary ammonium salts are also there in nature, because they change the rotation of the light, and if you change the groups, then that also changes the plane rates. You don't need to give much importance to this. This is another example. We call it as aziridine. It's a trigonal molecule. Here, if you have a shaded portion like this, it means it is facing you. Okay. These are some examples there, and our example is connected with spirenes biphenyls. Okay, this is a very good example of this biphenyl. A biphenyl molecule, it will be like this. Okay, here it will be connected by some carbon atom, and this will be perpendicular. The angle between this and this will be 90 degree. That means if you have a plane like this, we draw it a shaded portion. This lies in a plane. Okay, then this connected by means of another plane. This is lying flat and this is horizontal to you. So you can see that it has rotated by about 90 degree. Okay, so that rotation angle is being given by shaded things like this due to steric factor. So we call it as molecules without stereogenic center. Axis chirality is a special case of chirality in which a molecule does not possess stereogenic center but an axis of chirality. Okay, stereogenic centers are those with the asymmetric carbon atom. We have seen already plenty of them, but here you don't have an asymmetric carbon atom, rather you have an axis of chirality, an axis about which a set of substituents is held in the spatial element that is not superimposable on its mirror image. Here you can see this particular direction of rotation is a mirror image which is not superimposable. Okay, it is left means it is right. Okay, this means the shaded portion is coming towards you. Okay, it is like this. One plane going like this, another plane going like this. So this is called as the axis of chiral shifts, and this is the case with the biphenyls. Even though biphenyls do not have a center or chiral center, but they rotate the plane polar rate because of axis of chirality, that is because of two different planes with the different substituents. Okay, so we have the examples also there. See, this appears to be in plane. Whereas this is completely facing you, so this is flat, and this is not flat. Now it is flat to earth, you know, it is like this, and this one is like this. Okay, so the presentation of NO2 substituents and SO2 substituents, they prevent rotation along the axis. What is the axis? This is the axis. Along this axis, the rotation is prevented. So therefore, they are able to give some more substituents also can be added there. If either ring is symmetrical substitute, the molecule has a plane of symmetry and the compound is a chiral. A very important point. So you should have a chirality there along the axis also. Axis of the chirality is there. Then you have this naphthalene derivatives also there. Naphthalene derivative is not in our syllabus, but I'm just giving an example how this can be in plane or the plane. But here is an example of autoisomerism with the biphenyl. This is a biphenyl. Here you have one H2OH substituent, and here you have MEO substituent, and therefore this axis of rotation is different substituents. So therefore, remember in the biphenyls, if you have a different substituents, is capable of rotating the plane polarized light. And slightly, the interconversion value is given. This is just for information. That any rotation around the bond is about 18 to 19 kilocalories per mole. So likewise, a long chain of molecule is given. I am not going to discuss of that. This is bimethyl polynuclear molecules. This also have got optical activity. Okay. After the biphenyls, you have got allenes. Allenes are a class of compound. This is an allene. They are represented by like this. So in the representation, you can see that one carbon atom is towards you, away from you. Like this. Here you have CS3 and here you have CS3, quite opposite. And the double bonds, the pi bonds here that you see, are represented by this. See, this carbon atom is having this pi bond like this, and it is interacting with the next carbon atom pi bond like this. The next carbon atom, next pi is this one and this one. It is interacting with this. So this is capable of giving some changes in its stereo center. Just like biphenyls along the axis, you see here also the spirins, allenes, the allenes are a class of compound there, and you can see that it is capable of rotating plane polarized light. Okay. Here is an example. This is an allene, substituted allene. That is giving a rotation of about plus or minus 438 degree and 33 degree all parting. This is the specific rotation. So in the examples, then you may be given some compound like this and two substituents here. This plane and this plane are perpendicular. If you have some substituents like chlorine and bromine here, then they become asymmetric. If they are asymmetric, they are capable of rotating the plane polarized light. Okay, asymmetric means capable of rotating plane polarized light. Therefore, allenes are optically active. Here are some very good examples. This is inactive because you have plane here. This is facing you and this is facing away from you. When it cuts a line, here and here you have symmetric groups. Therefore, it is inactive. And here you can see that this particular plane is cutting across. So here these two become symmetric and therefore they are inactive. But here you can see this plane is cutting through this plane. Left side you have H and right side you have ME. So you have non-symmetry. Okay. As a result, your molecule is active. And see, this is a very good example here again of this. This is a plane that cuts through this, and here you have asymmetrical molecules, and therefore this is optically active. The activity is minus 257 degrees, 0.4 in ethanol. Another example is this is allene. And this is one substituent. This is another substituent. These two cut through this. Here you have one group. Here you have two groups. Group 2 and this is group 1. Therefore, this is asymmetric. So this is up to this allene. So we have seen biphenyl and we have seen allene. And then finally we have got this spirine. Spirine is a tetracyclic compound. So this is a Okay, we don't have this example, we have only this. So aspirin is also the same thing like this. Okay, here you have NH2, and this plane cuts through this. Left side you have NH2, right side you have H. Okay, this NH2 and H are symmetric. In the place of H, if you have NH2, then both are symmetric. Therefore, optically inactive. So these are only very few examples are existing there, and some examples of parallel due to helical shapes are there. This is not important, but you can see how this is written. This is planar. The same molecule is twisted, and therefore, if you have two different groups, it can be optically active. Same group means it will not be optically active. Okay. Likewise, you have this, and with this, just to conclude, and just there are some examples you can read which are optically active. This is not in your syllabus, but just for reference in future, that I am giving you this. So in this session, we have been able to take three classes of compound. The first one is allene, which is C double bond C double bond C. Here you should have four different groups: A, B, and C, D. Okay. The next is the biphenyl. Biphenyl is again a molecule connected to aromatics connected by a ring like this. So you are supposed to have two different substituents here: A, B, C, and D. The third one is spirans. The spirans you had only spire. Then you had A, B, C, and D. For all this class of compounds, substituents should vary. Giving rise to asymmetry. Hence, optically active. Okay, I think I am able to explain everything, and if you have anything, you can refer to the text. Thank you for joining me. See you around.